Welcome back to Poddy Time. I'm your host, Wade Changing, and today we are joined by the athletic director of Brazier, Coach Stallard.
Hello.
I'm really excited to get this episode started. This is my third episode of Poddy Time for my senior project, where I interview all sorts of special people in my life, and I really want to have Coach Stallard on here for his, dynamic, interesting personality, and we'll dive right into that with, all these sort of questions. To get started, Stallard, this is just the intro slide, but we've got kind of a good intro. We're going to talk about the future sports at Brazier, and I've pulled up a couple pictures here just to kind of represent what we've got going on. At first, I want to start up here with a little Bo over here, and this is when he was real young. He's kind of sprouted up like a little root here.
It's you guys, your senior class has been there from like the 8 to 13.
Yeah.
So it's like it's a good time to see him grow from a baby to a teenager.
And it is just incredible watching him grow up. And I don't know what plans you have with him going into, I know high school's still a little bit away from him.
Yeah.
But if you had any ideas, is he a future Bengal, or what's your envision on it?
Well, he's in the self-contained special needs classes. Brazier's an option. Mm-hmm. We think about it, but it's also what his real world will look like after it.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Woodmont is where we are zoned for, and that is they have a good department where we can get him working in the agriculture or working on some other things that maybe prepare him for his life. Not exactly. I don't think a 4-year degree is what his future holds right now.
And I kind of want to know with your future in coaching and kind of through all the sports teams, what's the ideal going into the next couple of years? And if you want to change anything up, I know we've got the baseball season underway. And are you're still coaching softball?
Still coaching the softball team.
Yeah, how's that going?
It's going. We've got a young, pieced together group that we have to do there. Replacing a all-time great from Emma Bryant.
Yeah.
But it's going. It's hard to get started in our spring sports for softball because basketball runs right into it.
Yeah.
And we're behind that where the soccer and baseball get the earlier starts.
Yeah. And you're kind of transitioning with basketball into softball. Is there any time for rest in between those two?
Not much.
Not much. You're kind of playing softball in the middle of basketball season.
We're starting the softball season. It's the first official day of practice is usually while basketball's still going on. Mm-hmm. So there'll be a little bit of double duty, but usually we don't start full speed until basketball's over with.
Yeah. Well, and then I kind of want to know your envisions on other sports. It's kind of hard to get more involved in swimming, and then who watches cross country, right?
It's not. Some of those sports are not made for spectators.
Yeah. But I want to know how you kind of organize it, because I know you do a whole lot more than people realize behind the scenes.
I think so,
and I kind of want to know how you organize all this stuff and kind of what goes into the process of either starting up a cross-country meet or even a basketball game. What do you do behind the scenes to get everything running?
Well, for the team sports, the soccer, volleyball, basketball, baseball, softball, the region opponents they're set. And those games are set.
Yeah.
So we were down in Charleston. I was just telling you about the conference we were at. We approved this year's volleyball and basketball schedules non-region. Mm-hmm. So then you can build your region games off of that, and you find your open dates. And then most of those team sports, we do about 2 or 3 weeks preseason to get some non-region games in there. The swim, Coach Grooms does a good, and it's just they do a good job of piecing together. It's now with our established and the teams that we've had, thanks to you and your sisters and everybody else, we know okay, we're going to have the splashdown, we're going to have the county, we're going to have this. Mm-hmm. And cross country is different too, because it used to be a lot of week stuff. Now it's a lot of Saturdays. Mm-hmm. And if the region meet is going to be at Landrum, then you want to run at Landrum before the meet. So a lot of those coaches, the swim and cross country, golf will handle their own schedule. Mm-hmm. And the coaches will handle their non-region schedule, but the region dates are built in.
Okay. So when it comes to non-region stuff, you're never really looking for a target to not face, or someone that's really good and you wouldn't want to face.
Well, yeah, we're gonna pick and choose. We're the Southside Christian rivalry was a good one for years. I think our two schools, because of Langston and because of the closeness, we're all there. We haven't been able to find a date to play them, but we try to find teams that are equal that we can compete with or that will help us move forward.
Yeah. All right. Well, kind of moving on from our intro with the future in sports, I kind of wanted to discuss. I did a little bit of research with a lot of people, and this is kind of an interesting topic I wanted to discuss. Going into this, I wanted to learn more about you, so I wouldn't just be a blank slate going into this. And I emailed Miss Freeman, and I spoke with her in person, and I got a lot of good stuff about her. When I was first asking these, I was more expecting like a humorous route and maybe just kind of like the crazier side of you. But the answers I got from her through my email were like surprisingly really wholesome. Like, and it was really, and I think you're going to be excited to hear this. I kind of asked her like about 8 or 9 questions, like if you were to live on an island, or like how long would you survive on an island with Stallard, and just kind of all the fun stuff. But I kind of want to know your opinion on some of these. So I asked her to describe you in as few words as possible. And she described you as entertaining and passionate. And throughout all these questions I asked her, she always went back to this passion. And I want to know if you could dissect it a little bit and where that kind of stems from.
I love what I do. And I said a lot, like, and me and Miss Freeman's relationship is, I don't know, it's Mr. Sinclair, the principal before her, would like sometimes have to big brother, little sister arguments. Be like, hey, leave each other alone. Yeah, it's one of those kind of things. We're like, we have our disagreements when we're both love Brazier and we both see it. So that's funny she mentions that because we talk a lot about my passion and my fire for things that I just really I love. And I grew up, both of my parents PE teachers and coaches, and I just always loved getting that impact in the community. And I just, when I got to Simpsonville, the bigger schools was not really my thing, but having that small school feeling, and that's where the passion is. I love what I do, and I love every day. I like going. I mean, there's some days that I love it more than others, but it's just I love what I do. Yeah, and I'm kind of jumping around here, but I also asked her favorite part about you, and she described, and this is in quotes, he's deeply passionate about his family, his students, and his athletes. And then she also mentioned kind of how you love watching the transition from these high schoolers into adulthood, and I just thought that was like, it kind of intertwined with the passionate part and stuff like that. Right. But it was just really surprising from Ms. Freeman. I thought there would be a little bit more of a joking manner when it comes to some of these questions. Like, it's like, oh, he's humorous and stuff like that. But it was really nice to hear. She has talked to me like I've been beat up or upset, but she has always like kind of shown me like, hey, these people that graduated years ago, 10 years ago, 5 years ago, they're still come back and see you, and they still like they're part of stuff because of things they learned here. So she's good at keeping the bigger perspective when we lose a tough game or we have a bad practice or stuff like that. Yeah. And then I also discussed with her, this was a little bit, I don't know anything about this. I asked like the crazy story that happened with you, and she said that you kind of follow this motto that says, never let the truth get away from a good story. Right. That's a quote that she specifically said that you try and follow as much as possible. And then it kind of follows your own adventures most of the time. And then I don't know anything about this, but she said to ask about the baby on the beach story. I got her pretty good with the story. And, you have me in class. We've talked all the time to there. Sometimes if I'm telling a story and I don't feel like it's getting the effect, I may stretch it a little bit. Of course. Just to embellish it a little bit. And I can't remember where we were. We were discussing something, and a woman came by who was pregnant. And I was like, she's about to have a baby. And then, Ms. Freeman was like, well, you'll have to deliver it because you're the first responder, whatever. And I just like, I'm not going to do that again. I did that before. And then once you start, I'm committed to it.
Yeah.
So I go into a whole big, how I delivered the baby at 19 on the beach. And I started going and I couldn't stop. And then she was just like, this can't be true, but there's details that make it believable.
Yeah.
So, and that's kind of, I mean, how some of my stories go. I'll start telling it and it'll take a little detour.
Now, is this something you always like pre-plan, like, or is it kind of just like, it's a freestyle?
I think Michael Scott from the office says sometimes I open my mouth and I like to see what comes out.
Yeah.
I just let it go and just see where we lead with it. And sometimes it'll get you in some. it'll get you. I mean, that's probably 5 years ago, and I told that story, and I'm like, oh, that story.
Yeah.
But I mean, I've had several of those things over the years.
Mm. And then, so I tried to add a little bit of my joke into an email that I wrote her talking about how hardworking of a person you are. And I was like, and if he's actually not, if you want to show that he's not a hardworking person, then do what you can. And I was expecting like a little bit of a joking manner. But again, she came in with kind of always just defending your name. He said, he's definitely a jokester, but with his work ethic, or he said he's definitely a jokester, but his work ethic is, what does it say? I can't even read what it says. It's like unbelievable. He said, and she kept mentioning your work ethic and your passion, and it was something that really surprised me coming from Miss Freeman, because I know y'all's two relationship, and I just thought that was really fun.
Yeah, I think that goes back to liking what you do, and I want everyone to have a great experience, and I want everybody to know that they matter somewhere, whether it is cross country swimming or like Andrew Hutchins, your friend who's played 90 games for me, and I've watched them. Like, I want everybody to be important, and if it matters to them, it matters to me. Yeah.
So this is a segment I like to do with all of my guests. It's called Caption. Basically what I do is I dissect every one of my guests' social media pages and kind of go through the years, and I kind of want you to describe what it was like either in that moment or how this picture makes you feel, or kind of just in general what's going on in this picture. And these are just two examples, but I have three.
We got more. Okay.
I have three coming up in these next couple slides. So to start off, I wanted to look at this tweet that you sent out, and this is on Instagram as well. And it's
August 13th.
Yeah, this was I believe this
August of 13. Yeah.
Was this your first day at Brazier, or this had to be like? I
think it was. No, I was at elementary school then. My first day at Brazier would have been 16, 17 as a teacher. I was probably coaching basketball there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was August 19th. I was teaching the Lawrence Elementary, and there we go.
Because I read this and like,
you see a little passion in there.
I love the passion, but I can never like see you sending this out now.
Right.
Like on the first day of school, I'd just be like, I think he likes to put on a little bit different display when it comes to high schoolers.
Right. Yeah, that was. Schoolers. And sometimes you gotta like talk yourself into doing something you really.
Yeah. And
but I think that like it's funny because I always tell like my first year teaching was 2000, so this 25 years, and I'm happiest when it's me and the students in the gym and we're doing something. Yeah. And that's funny. That's a long one to go.
Yeah. And
6:20 in the morning.
Yeah, you were ready to go.
I was ready. Elementary PE, man, you can't sleep on that.
Do you get up that early? Nowadays?
Yeah, I get it. I fairly early. Fairly early. With I've got my daughter's in elementary school still, so they start so much earlier.
Yeah. All right, well, kind of moving on, and to caption this segment, I have something a little bit.
That's an old one.
More interesting. I think this was like a Duck Dynasty post that you mentioned on here.
Yeah.
But I kind of just want to know your thought process. This was quite a while ago as well, but I want to know what's going on in this picture. What happened here?
I believe that's the Duck Dynasty app, the booth, and you can put your own beard on there. So it added a little bit to mine, a little bit. I don't know.
You just kind of felt like posting
just kind of felt like it, I guess, yeah. Felt cute, made it delete later. That's an old one.
Yeah. Have you ever been able to grow a beard out like that, or is
No,
it kinda...
I usually gets. I don't like it like that. I don't.
Yeah. Have you ever...
I think what I have right now works for me.
It's perfect. Yeah.
So yeah, no, I've never.
I like what you've got going on the top, too.
Right. That's when you run out of options, you
Yeah,
just kind of
it's
got to
a
go with
signature.
it. You kind of got to go with it. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm kind of following your footsteps a little
There
bit.
you go.
I just shaved this morning, thank goodness.
There you go.
Not this. I'll keep it this for a
No,
while.
keep the stash. That's good. Maybe that's a tough one there.
Yeah, I don't know how long that would take to get for me, but I
I
like
think they're
this one.
rebooting Duck Dynasty.
Are they actually?
Yeah, I think. I don't know, but I'm not gonna do that picture again.
These 3 pictures that I took, I really liked them because I can't imagine you posting them now. Because
Right.
I mean, I only know you from the school perspective and the stories you tell, like when we're at lunch, you just come up to our lunch table. So I wanted to know a little bit more of you, but I just couldn't imagine this ever happening.
That's an old one too. That's
just because of like how much social media is blown up, and I know
right.
your
That's
students
where
will
like
probably give you
once it
crap
got
for
kind of like going, I just kind of
fell behind a
stepped
little bit.
off of it. Yeah, like kind of like now I just use it more of a news source than a thing.
And so our last
I'm worried
segment
about-
on this, we've got
oh, there they are.
the 2 kids here, and
Yeah.
I just kind of this isn't really a moment in time. I think this was just, I don't know where y'all are in this, but I kind of wanted you to just describe your kids and kind of how you feel when you see this picture.
That's a good one. That might have been when they were both at elementary school to field day, and I got to go over there. Grace is 2 years younger, and Bo's in the 5th grade, I think, in that picture.
Yeah.
But they just like it's just happy. It makes me happy, and I've told them all the time that no one in the world makes me happier than them. No one in the world can make me mad as them. Yeah. But it's really great to be able to see them and to have them to kind of balance out.
Mm-hmm. Now the light looks like it's kind of getting her eyes a little bit, but
yeah, kind of.
But
got her shades up top.
I thought
she's not happy.
Yeah.
Well, and obviously, like her brother's touching her, and you know how like that's never.
It's never.
And it's never priming like, oh, there's people gonna see me.
Mm-hmm. But
that's a good one.
Yeah. Well, that kind of ends that segment of Caption This, but it's kind of a nice transition into what I wanted to talk about next with Bo, with Brazier. Yeah. And we kind of talked about this a little bit earlier, but I mean, I've seen Bo grow up 4 years. He went to Ford's graduation party. He was always at baseball games, and he just all of that. And I know he means so much to the students at Brazier and kind of the whole like sporting event, especially with basketball. And I kind of want to know, as you've watched him grow up with Brazier, is there anything you've kind of noticed, either the players or the interactions he's had with them, and kind of if he admires any certain people in particular?
Well, it's just always been, and I always make it a point to tell every parent who I see that, like, and growing up as a young kid, my dad coached in a gym. Like, those guys were just always bigger than life. And Bo has always looked at the Brazier basketball team like they were the Celtics. Like, they were always just these, and it's started like the older ones have always taken care of him and hugged him and let him climb over and ask all his questions. And it's just been a community, a Brazier thing is like, hey, like, he's going to be here. Mm-hmm. And we're going, and everybody's loved him and tolerated him. And I used to get worried the closer he got to their age, how it would work. But they still take care of him. And there's kids that are in my PE class now that went to school last year with him, which is an odd thing. But he just loves going there. He loves being in there. And, I mean, you guys met him when he was playing Miracle League. And that was Ford's freshman year. Yeah. He was his buddy, and it's just always been accepted and loved and handled, and it's just been great. I mean, Brazier students have babysat him and took him all over the place, and everywhere he goes, he's happy.
Yeah. And that was the first time I got introduced to Bo during Miracle League. It's kind of this foundation where it helps, I guess, people with special needs to play a quick game of baseball, right? And just enjoy it like everyone else. Yeah. And me and Ford, my brother, we got to show Bo the ropes of kind of baseball, and he crushed it. Really,
he started. Then after COVID, they had the year off, and then I think Ford was there some as a freshman year through his travels team.
Mm-hmm.
And then after COVID, you had to bring your own buddy, and you had to have a buddy to kind of like help you navigate the game.
Mm-hmm.
And Ford or you helped him. He was our buddy for those Saturdays in the fall, and it's just kind of like the kids at Brazier, the students at Brazier, I don't take for granted how much they love and take care of my kids.
And I talked with your wife, Miss Stallard, about there was one special moment that she said she was like just so starstruck by. And it was, I think, 1 year after senior night, the boys got together and all got Bo a gift.
Yeah.
I don't know when this was, but I wanted to go a little bit more in depth about that.
That was the 2020 season.
Mm-hmm.
I remember that because those seniors that were on that team were the ones that their spring sports got cut shortly. And that was just when Bo was younger, he sat on the bench. He wore a little Brazier jersey, and he just would come to practice whenever he could. He loved all of it, and those kids they were just we had pictures of him on the bench just crawling all over these senior basketball players during the game, and they were tolerating it. And they gave him a little. They called him up at senior night. I was not aware. They gave him a shirt, had all their pictures on it and everything, and it was just a great moment. And it really explains people who don't know what we do at Brazier don't understand how much it's just a community that loves each other, and that was a good moment.
So, kind of in our last portion, I want to talk about you and your relationship with Miss Stallard and the hardships that y'all have gone through, and with that, also how much y'all have prevailed. And I know y'all's story is just something incredible. And with that, and then with Bo, and just raising two kids and being an athletic director and being kind of the face of Brazier sometimes. And I mean, I don't want to toot your own horn here, but
right.
When I picture Brazier, Stallard is something that I always will see. And I kind of just want to know, I guess to start off, how's she doing? What's going on in y'all's life right now, and with all the sporting and with everything?
She's doing well. We're doing well. Like I said, we just got back from a little mini vacation to the Isle of Palms. Mm-hmm. It was good. Never been there before. We've been up and down the coast, but it was good. We had a good time. She gets better every day, and we talk about it a lot. That we are thankful she's with us, and limited use of her left hand from her stroke, and walks a little wonky. But I'm so thankful she's here because I told her you may miss some things that you don't get to do now, but you're not missing your kids grow up. And there for a little while, that was a reality for us.
Yeah. And I discussed this with her a lot, her mentality after the stroke and how you helped her along the way. And it got really emotional. I almost cried just reading those words that she wrote. And it was really important to me to share this to some of the viewers. But she described it as maybe not even wanting to continue with life anymore. And you've always been that backbone and always been the person to support her, and always helped her, and you took on such a large role when it came to raising your kids and helping her, and every day y'all got better and better. And I just wanted to know your mentality, and if you ever had any doubt that this wouldn't work, or if you were always kind of just whatever it takes. And I just super admired everything you've done.
I think it's difficult sometimes when you hear someone at school or a parent or a kid complain about something that's minor to me because of what we've went through since the August 4th of 2020 when she had her stroke. But, and I don't know if she can tell, I don't know if she would tell you, I don't know what Ms. Freeman, I've always felt that I'm better in the bigger moments. And I mean, you've seen a kid come in the gym and throw a shoe and I might lose my mind.
Yeah.
But then if the building's on fire, I'm better. And in those moments, and when she had a stroke, we were at home for COVID called 911. The kids were 6 and 8. It was tough. She was at the hospital for 30 days. And 16 of those, I mean, that was COVID and there was no contact. Like she didn't see the kids. They had to kind of sneak me in, do some family training. It was rough. It was tough times because we had been together since March through COVID. And she had some bad days and she had some dark days. And I think in the whole mental health picture, you always talk about it's okay, it's what but like some days the dark days win.
Yeah.
Some days you have a bad day and that's okay, but a bad day can't turn into a bad week. And it's also easier to help someone than to go through it. And just telling her that we needed her. Whatever version of her came home, we needed her. And to get her through it and to praise those minor things that you went. Like she was 38. And therefore, about a week and a half, I thought I had went from a happy family to a single dad of 2 overnight. And it was tough. The community helped us. The school helped us. The kids. We had students who weren't even at Brazier yet in the neighborhood would come watch the kids while I took Mandy places to do things. And it was just, I mean, it's tough, but just getting through it every day, just kind of, I don't know if it grounds you, puts you in perspective of like, hey, if there's not concessions tonight at the soccer game, it's going to be okay. So, I mean, it's a struggle. And people don't understand it. People, because I run around and I joke and I'm happy that people don't understand that there's a lot. Even on the athletic side, there's a lot. Then there's a lot just being a father. There's a lot being a husband, a brother. When it all gets together is when it gets kind of, you got to just really prioritize things.
Well, I asked this question in my first interview I did with someone that I really look up to. And it was always something that I always really take to heart. And it's kind of like, do you have a phrase or something that you, in your life, you stick by? Because for me, I have this thing that my dad taught me. It's called law of attraction. And he speaks about it with God knows everyone. And basically it's described as just, if you believe something's going to happen, it will and it can happen. Like if you really set your mind to something and you only think about the good and the positive things will come your way. But it works vice versa. Like if you think negatively, like the negative things are going to happen. And it seems a little childish, but it really, when you take it to heart and you set your mind to something like, I'm going to swim good at this meet, or I'm going to ace this test, you are more likely to swim good or ace this test rather than have a negative mindset. And I love sharing that message with people because it's always hit me at home, but I want to know if you have anything to share.
Just on that one, I've heard it and I say it now, is like, if you're looking for blue objects, you'll find blue objects. If you're looking for red objects, you'll find red objects. So if you're looking for something negative, you can find it.
Exactly.
If you're like, oh, the pool temperature is cold, or God, I didn't get enough sleep last night. Like, but the positive self-talk, that's it. And just kind of like, I don't know, man, like, I think dealing with some stuff that we've dealt with and we're like, live through, and realizing that it's going to be okay. And like, I got several of those things, like never let the truth get in the way of a good story, or I've told people before, like, you're not promised tomorrow, so say it to their face today, kind of stuff. But I think it's just kind of like, just be in the moment. Like, we have so many people who we have so many kids come to Brazier and they worry 4 years about where they're going to go to college. Then they worry 4 years in college about where they're grad school. Then they wake up and they're 40 and they're like, what happened?
Wow.
Like, enjoy your moment. Like, enjoy school. Like, go to the games, scream at the refs, like, yell for the players, rush the floor when we hit a 75-footer. Like, do those things. And I guess, like, I have to tell my daughter, and she's gonna get mad at me.
Mhm.
But like, when you walk into a room and you're worried about, is my hair look right, or is there something in my teeth, is my pants zipped or anything, like everybody in that room is worried about the same thing. They're not worried about you.
Yeah.
You're not that important. So just enjoy it, have fun, relax. It's gonna be okay. That's kind of what I try to do. You know, I know somebody's gonna be like, I've heard you do that before. Like I know. I try to do it.
Yeah, we try. Kind of moving on to like a more positive note. I mean, I think this was a while ago when you posted this, but this was your 7th anniversary Instagram post. But I kind of wanted you to walk me back to that day and a kind of another version of caption this, but just your wedding day. I kind of want to know
That
more
was
about
April 3rd, 2010. Got married. I was older. I just turned, I think I was 33 when I got married. 30 when I met her. I always tell people that she kept me calm, and she calms me down. And people who know me are like, wow, how was this the calm version of you?
Yeah.
It's, I don't know. Like,
She's
I tell people all the time, like, when you know, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew.
Yeah, and I discussed with her when y'all first met, and she always described it as you reaching out to her. But she said that you would interpret it a different way, that she reached out to you. And I believe, I'm trying to remember, I mean, you can tell the story for yourself, but I'm trying to remember. I heard something about yoga pants. So.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think, well, we were working together. The Disney, like, she's a librarian now. And I always tell the classes, like, if you want to be a librarian, you're not going to be able to land a PE teacher first. You've got to do something. Like, she was a cheerleading coach. I was a basketball coach. She taught French. The old bait and switch way, that's how you, but yeah, walked in, she was doing something, she was working with physicals. I said hey to her, turned back around, met her. But then, like, she was like, always seemed to be there, like peeping around the corner, seeing if I was in the gym. Like, you know, if I was in the office checking an email or checking my school mail, like, she was there. It was just like, hey, let me ask this PE teacher for tech support. Like, you know, it was like things like that. And I remember, like, I thought she was interested, wasn't too sure. She asked me to come over and help find a rat that was in her apartment. I go to her apartment just because I'm just, you know, a small town boy from the Landrum, just going to help a damsel in distress. I get there. There's 2 glasses of wine. A meal's prepared. Well, I thought I was like cleaning up.
Yeah,
and
you
then
were, like, interrupted.
it was, right. It was, we found the rat earlier. Do you mind staying for dinner?
That's smooth.
That was. I mean, I got to give her, like, that was well done. And she got me.
Ever since then?
Ever since then, she's kept me calm. So that's the way I remember the story.
Yeah.
Now, whether her perception is different, she's not on the podcast.
Yeah.
She doesn't have the mic.
She's not here.
She doesn't have the mic on her shirt.
Well, and then kind of describing the last picture, I mean, this right here, it was a really sweet picture. I mean, this one's a little oldie too, because I know Bo's way grown up now. But just your family dynamic, it's I've never gotten to meet your daughter, but just growing up with, or watching them grow up, I kind of wanted to know if there's any advice you would give to, I guess, either like parents or couples or whoever's watching this, really, but just as a husband, as a father, as a teacher, just any advice, really.
I think it's just like we were talking about earlier. I think you just got to enjoy it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it gets crazy, man. It's hectic. That's the old picture, and the dog's new and is jumping in Grace's face, and like, I grew up. I've lost both my parents in the last 2 years. I have a twin brother and an older brother and a little sister. There was 6 of us, and it was just loud. Like, it was a big sports driven, like, just fun, close knit family, and we celebrated little things, and we enjoyed Friday nights. Yeah. We celebrated, and that's what you got to do. Like, enjoy it. Like, don't wait for your anniversary to enjoy it.
Yeah.
And I told her, and I tell parents all the time that one day you won't have somebody to go watch. And that nobody ever has come back to me and be like, man, I wish my parents would have screamed at the referees more, screamed at the umpires. Mm-hmm. But one day I'm going to wake up and my life's not going to be chaotic. I'm not going to be driving with Miss Freeman to a state meet and coming back to a meet the student night or do. And it's going to be like, wow, like we did all that and we made it through and it was fun because of it.
Yeah.
So just enjoy the moment you're in as a parent, as a husband, as a son, because we're going to lose people and we're going to. I don't want you to be like, oh man, I hope they knew how much I meant to them. All
right, this has been Poddy Time with Coach Stallard. I want to know if you have anything to say to the people watching. What's going on in your life? Just anything, let them know.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah,
it's great. Anything I can do for you guys, I'm happy to help. Those of you watching, go to a Brazier baseball game, go to a soccer game, go to a softball game. Go watch us. Enjoy it. Get outside. Have fun. Enjoy what you got. You're going to be old one day like me, teaching PE and be like, oh man, I wish I could have a spring break again.
Yeah. All right, well, go ahead and subscribe, and thank you so much for watching.